one of the other things I want to hit. Do you know what Munchausen syndrome is?
I've heard of it. Is that the proxy thing where
Then
uh
there's Munchausen by proxy.
is that the one where the disease, like you're pushing the disease on somebody or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. See, Munchausen syndrome is pretending you're sick so you can get the attention of a
Yeah.
victim.
Yeah, okay.
You pretend like you're sick, okay, just to get the symptom of the victim. And Munchausen syndrome by proxy is pretending that someone you care for is sick so you can get the same kind of attention. You're keeping somebody ill to get the sympathy.
Yeah.
What I want to discuss, Sarah, on this point is, don't you feel that that's what these teachers and some of these parents
Oh my
are
God.
doing to these kids, pushing this alphabet mafia agenda and this diverse section and these gender identity discussions
Yes.
on them? Because
Yes.
there is no reason to hold a sexual identity gender discussion with a freaking 8-year old.
That's man, I never even thought about that. Yes, that's exactly what it sounds like to me. That's what it
The, the,
sounds like.
they're pushing that on them so they can go out to the side and go, look, I'm the parent of a he, she. I'm a parent of a they, them. I'm a parent of a it, fuck. I'm sorry. I'm a parent of, I'm a parent of a sea slug.
Yeah.
My
My
child is LGBTQ plus RXZ. No, or as I like to call them now. So here's my new thing. I call them. My child is not part of the LGBTQ up down down left right BA start. Uh,
yeah. Konami code.
you know, you know,
What do you identify? I identify as a Konami code.
I can Konami code because think about it. What other reason do you have other than that?
You know,
I have discovered this here, just doing what I call rookie research.
mhm,
Gumshoe detective work.
yeah.
Most of these teachers that are pushing this, you know, your child could come out to me. Oh, my room's a safe space for children. Oh, I'm teaching my students to be gender fluid. None of these teachers have kids.
No.
They are by proxy. That way
They
they can say, I did that. That ain't no brave shit because I looked it up doing looking at your people. Here you can go to mayoclinic.com. You can look up under webmd.com and see how many people, the large percentage of people that regret going through the gender change when they become older. I don't understand parents that say, "Oh, I let my 8-year old, 10-year old tell me what they are." My eight-year
and
old, 10-year old can't tell me shit
that's the thing that doesn't make sense.
at all.
It's like, oh, I'm going to allow my child to tell me something that was life altering when they can't even figure out what the hell they want to eat.
There you go. There it is.
They don't
I,
even wash themselves properly. You gotta
I'm
wash them
not gonna let
jokers.
my child choose their sexual identity, and you can't tell your left shoe from your right shoe yet.
Yeah, you gotta get them to clean their room. You gotta get them to do that, and the other. And you, come on.
I'm saying you grown enough to have a sexual identity, but
Yeah, you
can't watch,
growing up. Yeah,
but can't wash your clothes, can't
hey,
clean your
what?
room,
Yeah. And why are you letting the child make the
bruh.
decisions?
Munchausen by proxy. They do this so they can say, "Oh, I'm the parent of," because they think that's the
True.
thing to be. That's
I
why I
can't
said,
remember. Did you see that video where that it was on? It was like the lady. Uh, the kid was like trans or something. Like I forgot how old the kid was. I can't remember. It was a boy. It was a boy trying to be a girl,
it
something
was
like
a he
that.
she. Okay, he she. Okay, he she.
And
Uh-huh.
it was like still kid. And the kid was like, I guess when it first was happening, the kid was like all I guess into it because maybe because they were feeding off into the mother's idea of pushing it
Yes.
and then the mother was like still kind of pushing the issue because it was like I guess a couple of years happened from the when it was all publicized. They did like a book or whatever the hell, and then now the kid's a little older. The kid's like this was on the video of the like they do like an interview, and the kid's like, man, I don't care. Like they kind of check that kid was starting to check out. It's like this. It's like you and the mom was trying to push the idea more than the kids. Like, oh yeah, my child is this, my child is that. It's like what you're saying. As soon as you start saying those, explaining it that way, I remember that interview. I wish I could. I see if I can pull that up. Because why
If
was
you do, send it and I upload it.
yeah. But here's the thing too. It's something I always thought about. The years ago
Mhm.
when the whole uh gay marriage thing came up. The thing is, and it's not just gay marriage situation, it's most things. A lot of people don't have foresight or critical thinking or going beyond just from point A to point B to C to D to E to G to F, all the way to Z. Some people just stop, not even at the next letter. I mean, they literally are, they stuck at A. They don't
Yeah.
go nowhere. But it's like, what do you think is going to happen? Because everything, no matter what it is, whether you say it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, everything has a consequence. Everything has an action. Every action has a reaction. And the thing is, you also have unintended consequences. Just because if you put like stimuli to certain thing, it can be a good result and it can be a bad result. You may not even see the bad until down the line. You're like, crap, that didn't work.
Yep. Yep.
Initial results showed that it was very good. And oh crap, long term, oh god, you know. But as I learned about the ideology they were pushing, and as they talked about the quote unquote science of the situation, and even as I remember they did the psychology stuff, that DSM whatever, that manual that
Yeah.
they use.
Yeah.
And I saw even as they were changing that to fit the current narrative, and because it's like it wasn't being done from what I was seeing as a layman, I was seeing it like it wasn't being changed because hey, we came together and like you thought that it was actually scientifically peer reviewed, criticized on different points
So
and
what you're
on
saying? So what
a
you're saying
intellectual
is,
basis.
yes. What you're saying is, it wasn't being done in good faith.
It wasn't done to get in faith. No, I think people got in there and they was talking about their feelings and you're not affirming my feelings, therefore that you're a
Uh,
bad person, and they start slaying around those terms like you're a bigot and start pulling back stuff from the civil rights days, acting like they civil rights. It ain't the same. Uh,
don't tell
that's
them that.
yeah, but that's when I think the flaw in that ideology, but it was allowed to grow because how can you have this quote unquote science or study and a field of transitioning kids and people when you're not even allowed to criticize that thing?
Or when the
How
other,
could
or when the rest of the science is being suppressed about
yes, it's
how
being
much,
suppressed because as soon as
about
you
how
say
many
that,
children are being, how much they regret it the second
yeah,
they get older.
because if you're yes, how okay if a kid goes through that whole process and then like that's why people talk about it as cult like behavior and this
Yes.
the big I call it with big gay big gay like it's like big tech,
Yeah.
big gay
Big gay. Yeah. Yeah. Big gay.
is it's its own it became a cult. I mean the way I see it, 'cause you got regular gay folks who just living their life chilling, they ain't all in your face, everybody, people get along, people rock with that, you know what I mean? It's like it is what it is. Move on. But when this, you like you telling me you're in my face. You like, hey, I'm coming to your house. I'm showing up in your crib. Hey, you need to accept this. You need to know what I'm doing in my bed. You need to know. I was like, what? What? I'm in my house chilling. Why do I need to know that? I don't need to know that. Get out my face. Oh, you don't want to know what I'm doing? You're a bigot. It's like what? Just like
Yeah.
this. Just like when those transgender dudes was like, oh, straight men don't want to date me, so that's transphobic.
Oh man. It is literally a definition of, if you don't agree with everything that a trans person does or says, you are automatically transphobic.
I'll never forget. It was like during the I don't know if it was during the Democratic primaries for the presidential election. There was a transgender dude that was on the Democratic primary, jumped out I think it was Don Lemon was on the stage, and that dude came down there and was just going off. They had to get that dude out of there. They said because there's violence against trans people or something like that. I'm like, what? It's like you're doing too much. How can you try to get your idea or whatever across when you're acting like that? And Don Lemon is gay. You know,
As the day is long.
yeah. So it's like you can't. It's not everything is not lockstep. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole problem. The cult-like behavior is you have to be in lockstep. Like for when I was going back to the part with the whole that whole situation is the way the cult-like behavior,
Yep.
like how they ingratiate you. I remember watching the a couple of videos on was that the one was that Jim Jones, the one that was the Kool-Aid or
Yeah. No, it's
that
Jim Jones.
the Jim Jones? Okay. I was about to get some of these cults mixed up for some reason. Anyway, I was watching the videos about how it started, like people how they were ingratiated into that. Like it's like because my idea was like, man, how do you get these people? And some people were, on they may be intelligent in their field, but that doesn't make you intelligent across the board.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
one thing people got to remember too. Just because a person is popular or famous does not make that person intelligent. They whatever they may be intelligent or good in their craft does not spread out through the rest of their what they do and their ideology, their worldview. That does not it's not all encompassing. But the thing that they get a lot of people on, and I think this is what caught a lot of like kids, especially kids, and very impressionable youth, uh, probably like they're teenagers, a little older, even young adults, because it happened to even grown folks, is the love bombing people. What they do is they get people like, oh, you have some people are out here right now who feel lonely, right? You got some
Okay.
people out here who are going through struggles and everything, and or they just never got enough attention, either because of a poor family environment or whatever. Whatever
Hmm.
it could be, it don't even have to be the family's fault. But sometimes people just feel something themselves they're not getting a certain thing. Okay, but now if you got this you on YouTube or whatever, TikTok, and you're just sitting there and you're going like, well, I don't feel special. That other person's special. What makes me feel special? And if you see this dude or girl on there and they're talking about how great it is to be LGBT, whatever the hell,
Yep.
uh, and then he's like, oh, okay, and then but you keep seeing it, not just that person, but they keep saying how great it is,
Hmm.
like it's like the best thing ever. It's like that's the way it's been promoted. It's
Yeah.
not like it's saying, hey, you know what, I do this, and it's like just to normalize it, then go ahead, it is what it is, and keep it pushing. No, it's constantly talking about how great it is, and then the affirming part of like as soon as that person says that, oh yeah, I'm LGBT too. Oh, great. Oh, great
Yep.
brother. Oh, great sister. Great whatever the hell, whatever they say to each other to applaud that kid, that young adult, whoever, they get applauded. All that praise, all that quote unquote, I almost adulation. I wouldn't say love because I don't think that's the right word, but that's what that person feels though. They feel
Yeah.
like
They feel the love. They
I
feel its
feel
love.
it. Yeah, I feel this love and caring. And it's like, oh, people are paying attention to me. They're
And
coming to me. They're spending time with me. I didn't have these friends before, if that was the case.
so now think
And
about that on a parent level.
yeah,
Hence why I
exactly.
said it's Munchausen.
Yeah.
It's a form of Munchausen syndrome
Is it?
because
Yep.
there is no logical reason,
Hmm.
zero, for you to be having any kind of gender
It,
identity
it,
discussions with a kid.
and think about it. As that kid or whoever young adults Google searching there because after they probably look at this, they probably searching about that. And then or watching TikTok videos as they young generation, they'll watch TikTok videos and they're like, oh, how to be gay or what's this? What should I be doing? Where to go? They are not seeing any opposite to what they're being presented.
No.
Especially with the transgender thing. They're only seeing one way that it's great puberty blockers, the mastectomies, uh,
Yep.
uh, all that stuff. That's what they see. Like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. It's great. It's great. Because anytime anyone says anything different, oh, well, oh no, man, they're a bunch of bigots and false, and they're not telling the truth. They don't know what they're talking about. It was like they'll create all kinds of things. But think about from the person who went through that. How many people? Because we know the difference between dealing with somebody person to person
Yeah.
versus dealing with somebody in the group. When dealing with somebody in a group, that person generally, most people can't be themselves or be honest with you in that group. But once you get one to one and we just chop it up, guess what? You can start learning a whole lot about a person.
Yeah.
And you know what? How do you feel about this? Man, let's be real. I don't really like it like that. I'm they don't want you. They want you to play. Some people want you to play a role. They want you to be super flamboyant. They want you to constantly tell you every 2 seconds what they doing, but they can't tell anybody that they don't like it. Or
And
maybe they tried it and they say, "Nah, this ain't for me." But I have to keep doing it because if I turn around and say no, all the people who are quote unquote on my side, they're gonna
yep,
turn on me.
your attention goes away. Um, the podcast that was done where I discussed this, and I even bring up the stats.
Uh-huh.
I literally put the stats out discussing some of the things that those people who went through transgender procedures
Hmm.
and then have to go back through it to get back to what they originally were. They
Hmm.
talk about how all of a sudden that once they realize and they admit, hey, I made a mistake, how people start to shun them. And one of the things that they say in the report is, and it's going on right now, there's a lawsuit going on right now where a transgender person is suing a therapist because the therapist, after one session, convinced them that they should have a transgender surgery. Um, but yeah, they talk about how one of the things they say is they say therapists are not your friends
I know, right?
because they are there pushing the agenda too.
Yes.
Like when I say the Munchausen by proxy,
Hmm.
there are a whole bunch of people projecting.
Yep.
Proxy means by there are parents projecting because they want to be in the spotlight. They want that attention. There are therapists that say, "Ooh, I had a hand in turning him to her." There are
Yep.
teachers, "Ooh, I encouraged them to be that way. I was a safe space." Instead of actually trying to go, "Hey, you have not lived your life yet. How
Yeah.
in the hell do you know that this is what you are meant to be? How do you know this is what you are meant to do? You are, I don't give a Jean Claude Van Damme from 2 to 16. You 16, you just became legal age to get a job. Calm down. Calm down. At 16, you think the world end when your boyfriend broke up with you. Calm
Yeah.
down.
But that's the thing. Like
Calm
I
down.
talk to young folks, you, and I even remember to myself to a certain extent is how small the world is. You're so focused on like, oh, what's going on in school and what's happening here and on social media. I mean, to a certain extent, it's broader now than it's been before with tech, but it's still smaller than you think
Yep.
because you don't have the experience in life. You don't have that having to work and have to grind and get this and do that, and have to be disappointed with how the structure of corporate and all that other stuff. You don't have that. People don't have that experience.
It was one of the greatest things that probably happened to my oldest,
Hmm.
to Monstar, was when she got out there and she had to start adulting.
Hmm.
Because then you realize a lot of this really ain't shit. It
Yeah. That's why when I told my nephew when he said, "I can't wait to be grown up. I can't wait to be grown up." I'm
yeah.
like, kid, I was like, you can chill out on that. I said, you know what? You know what I did? I said, okay, he kept saying. I said, you know what? All right, I got you. I sat down with him. I said, come on, come over here. I sat him down at the table. I started pulling out bills. I started pulling out bills. I said, you know what? I said, how much that costs? I said, that's that food in that kitchen, in the refrigerator, that TV, the internet. I started going down the list. I'm like, hey, I said, you know what? Hey, that's not including taxes, like your income taxes. That's not including gas in the truck, insurance. I've started going down the list. And some people say, man, you too young. I see you too young. Like, no, 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 no. Forget that. I was trying to I said it, I told him in a way that he can understand. It's like he had the concept of money. He old enough to understand the concept some things cost money, but not not he had to learn that part of what you have to pay or how much you have to work to get it.
Yeah.
And it's like as I explained and started explaining it to him, he was like, dang. I said, enjoy being a kid. Enjoy having, even when you have a bad day at school and stuff like that. I said, that's gonna fade away. I mean,
Yep.
most people don't remember crap no way. When you're a kid, you remember stuff to a certain extent, but a lot of stuff will fly right off because
Well,
something
it goes down the memory hole.
it go man memory hole. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but now I like that. I thought about that when I heard about this lady talking about her 8-year-old came out to her 8. So I'm like, you know what? This sounds like a different version
But
of Munchausen.
But you know what? But you know what makes a whole lot of sense, and then you know the reason it makes sense why especially a lot of these kids are probably experiencing all this is because the parents are not raising their children. The internet, that phone, that whatever the hell.
Man, we gonna stop it right there. You can catch the rest of that conversation on our Free Mind Thinkers podcast, which you can listen to wherever you listen to any of your favorite podcasts. We are on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. So give us a listen there. If you like what you heard, then tell the world. Share, like the vid. If you have something to say, then please, we encourage everyone, drop a comment, let us know what's on your mind. And you can find us all over social media. You can find our videos on BitChute, Odyssey, and YouTube. You can communicate with us through our various communication social media site platforms like Twitter, Rumble, Getter, Minds, Gab. Wherever you want to let your free mind thoughts flow, you'll find the Free Mind Thinkers. Plus, we are now setting up our locals page, which we will soon load exclusive content for all those that become members. So stay tuned. Things are going to get greater. Y'all take it light. Remember to listen less, learn more.